Be honest. You bought that $200 blender because you were done with processed junk. You wake up, toss in spinach, banana, almond milk, maybe protein powder. You blend it up and tell yourself, this is the cleanest fuel I could possibly put in my body. Meanwhile, your friend grabs a Coke. You judge them silently. You should. Soda is liquid sugar. But here's a question worth asking. What if your healthy smoothie spikes your blood sugar as much as, or even more than, their soda? I spent a week wearing a continuous glucose monitor to test this. I tested the smoothie, I tested the soda, and what I found shifted how I think about healthy breakfasts. Welcome to Health Exposed. Here's what I did. Day 1, 8 a.m., fasting. I drank a 16-ounce Coke, tracked my glucose for 2 hours. Day 2, same baseline, same volume, same sugar content, roughly. But this time, a fruit smoothie. Banana, mango, apple juice base. I expected the soda line to spike. It's sugar water. But in my case, the smoothie didn't just match the soda, it exceeded it. Higher peak, slower return to baseline. Let me show you the actual CGM graph. Soda line, sharp up, sharp down. Smoothie line climbs higher, stays elevated longer. Same person, same morning, different breakfast. Now, I'm not here to tell you to throw away your blender. I'm here to explain why this happens and how to build a smoothie that actually serves your health goals. Let's start with what happens when you blend fruit. Whole fruit comes with built-in structure, fiber, cell walls, physical integrity. When you eat an apple, you chew, you swallow. Your stomach continues the breakdown. Sugar releases gradually because it's trapped inside plant cell walls. When you blend that same apple, you're performing that mechanical digestion in advance. The cell walls are destroyed. The trapped sugar is liberated all at once. A study in the journal Appetite gave participants whole apples on one day and apple puree on another. Same fruit, same fiber content, same sugar. The puree produced a higher blood glucose response and lower satiety ratings. The physical form of the fruit matters, not just the nutrient label. Let's look at the numbers. A 16-ounce Coke, 52 grams of sugar. Now let's build a typical smoothie. 1 banana, 17 grams. 1 cup mango, 23 grams. 1 cup pineapple, 16 grams. 1 cup apple juice, 24 grams. A handful of spinach, negligible. That totals 80 grams of sugar before any protein powder or add-ons. That's the sugar equivalent of 1.5 Cokes. But here's the nuance. That sugar comes with vitamins and polyphenols. Coke offers none. So the question isn't whether smoothies are evil. The question is whether we're accurately evaluating what we're drinking. Here's what happens physiologically. When sugar enters your bloodstream rapidly, your pancreas releases insulin. Insulin's job is to move glucose out of your blood and into cells for energy or storage. Some goes to muscle, some to the liver. Whatever isn't needed immediately gets stored. Glycogen first. Once glycogen stores are full, the excess is converted to fat. This is normal metabolism. The challenge comes when this pattern becomes chronic. Frequent large glucose spikes require frequent large insulin responses. Over time, cells can become less responsive. This cascade is well documented. A single smoothie won't cause metabolic disease, but frequent 80-gram sugar loads without balancing nutrients may contribute to patterns many people are trying to avoid. There's another layer. Fructose, the primary sugar in fruit, is metabolized differently than glucose. Glucose can be used by virtually every cell. Fructose is metabolized almost exclusively in the liver. In small amounts with fiber, the liver handles fructose efficiently. When fructose arrives in large amounts rapidly, the liver's capacity can be exceeded. Excess is converted to fat through a process called de novo lipogenesis. This happens with sucrose, honey, agave, and fruit sugar. The source matters less than the dose and context. Here's the key. It's very easy to consume 3 to 4 servings of fruit in one smoothie without feeling like you've eaten 3 to 4 servings of fruit. Satiety signals don't trigger the same way with liquids. You drink what feels like 1 serving but is metabolically 3 or 4. I want to pause here because I know what some of you are thinking. Does this mean fruit is bad? Should I stop eating fruit? No, absolutely not. Whole fruit consumption is consistently associated with positive health outcomes. People who eat more whole fruit have lower rates of cardiovascular disease and type 2 diabetes. The problem isn't fruit. The problem is fruit that's been mechanically transformed into a form that bypasses your body's normal processing. An orange and orange juice are not metabolically equivalent. An apple and apple sauce are not metabolically equivalent. This distinction matters, and it's almost entirely absent in popular health discourse. Let me address another objection. But fruit sugar is natural. Isn't it different from refined sugar? At the molecular level, no. Sucrose is sucrose. Glucose is glucose. Fructose is fructose. The molecules are identical regardless of source. What's different is what comes with the sugar. Whole fruit provides fiber, water, polyphenols, vitamins. These cofactors modify the metabolic response. Refined sugar provides none of these. So the relevant comparison isn't fruit sugar versus refined sugar. It's whole fruit versus processed fruit versus refined sugar. Whole fruit is clearly superior. Processed fruit sits in the middle. Refined sugar sits at the far end. Now, let me give you what I promised, a practical framework for building smoothies that actually support metabolic health. Principle 1. Minimize liquid sugar. Apple juice, orange juice, pineapple juice. These spike blood glucose rapidly. They add sugar without structure. Replace all liquid with unsweetened liquid, water, unsweetened almond milk, green tea. This single change cuts sugar by 20 to 40 grams. Principle 2, include a fat source. Fat slows gastric emptying. It blunts the glucose spike and increases satiety. 1 tablespoon almond butter, avocado, chia seeds, or full-fat yogurt. You don't need much. Principle 3, include a protein source. Protein triggers glucagon, which opposes insulin. Protein builds muscle, and muscle is your primary glucose disposal site. Protein powder, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese. Aim for 20 to 30 grams. Principle 4, choose lower sugar fruits. Berries are consistently lower in sugar and higher in fiber than tropical fruits. Strawberries, blueberries, raspberries. Bananas, mangoes, pineapples are higher sugar. Use half a banana if you need creaminess. Optimal fruit load, half a cup of berries. Here's a specific template. 2 cups leafy greens, spinach, kale, 1 cup unsweetened liquid, water or almond milk, 1 tablespoon fat source, almond butter or avocado, 1 scoop protein powder, 20 grams, half cup frozen berries. Blend. This smoothie, 300 to 350 calories, 25 grams of protein, 15 to 20 grams of sugar. Flat glucose response. Sustained energy for hours. Compared to the typical recipe, banana, mango, pineapple, apple juice, 5 to 8 grams of protein, 75 to 90 grams of sugar. Significant spike. Hunger returns in 2 hours. Same blender, same person, radically different outcomes. The ingredients are the difference. I want to acknowledge something. Changing your smoothie habits requires taste adaptation. If you're used to hyper-sweet smoothies, a balanced smoothie will taste bland at first. This is normal. Your palate has been calibrated to high sweetness. The good news, taste adaptation takes about 2 weeks. Within 14 days, your sweetness threshold resets. Foods that previously tasted normal will begin to taste cloying. Foods that tasted bland will become pleasantly sweet. This isn't willpower, it's biology. Your taste receptors adjust based on chronic exposure. You don't have to love your new smoothie on day 1. You just have to persist through the adaptation window. One more thing, cost. Berries cost more than bananas. Protein powder costs money. Here are workarounds. Frozen berries are cheaper than fresh and nutritionally comparable.
Plain Greek yogurt is often more economical than protein powder. Frozen spinach costs less than fresh. Budget smoothie, 2 cups frozen spinach, 1 cup water, half banana, 2 tablespoons Greek yogurt, half cup frozen berries. About $1.50. 12 grams of protein, 18 grams of sugar. Modest glycemic impact. Functional nutrition that moves you in the right direction. Let me address one final objection. Isn't this just personal data? How do I know this applies to me? It doesn't necessarily. Individual responses vary based on muscle mass, activity, sleep, stress, gut microbiome. What I've presented is a framework based on established physiology. Fat slows gastric emptying. This is not controversial. Protein increases satiety. Well documented. Liquid calories are less satiating than solid. Multiple studies confirm this. The application to smoothies is my synthesis. I'm not claiming universal truth. I'm claiming this approach works for many people and is worth testing for yourself. Let me summarize what we've covered. 1. Blended fruit is metabolically different from whole fruit. Blending accelerates sugar absorption. 2. A typical smoothie often contains more sugar than a soda and may produce a comparable glucose response. 3. Fructose is metabolized in the liver. Excess without fiber can be converted to fat. 4. 4 adjustments fix your smoothie. Lose liquid sugar, add fat, add protein, choose berries. 5. An optimized template exists. Greens, water, fat, protein, half cup berries. 6. Taste adaptation takes 2 weeks. Your palate will adjust. 7. Cost can be managed with frozen produce and Greek yogurt. 8. Evaluate food based on physiology, not marketing language. Here's what I'd like to know. Have you ever realized a food you believed was healthy was affecting you differently than you expected? Drop it in the comments. What's a food that surprised you? I read every comment. Your experience might inform a future video. If you'd like more evidence-based analysis, consider subscribing. Next week, oat milk. Why some plant-based milks spike blood sugar more than dairy. The data surprised me. It might surprise you too. Health exposed. Nothing added, nothing hidden.